This is macOS Ken.
The US and EU prepare to hammer tech, analysts analyze Apple services, and a crazy non-recycling caper. It's Monday, the 5th of October, 2020. I'm Ken Ray, and this is news from macOS Ken, brought to you by yours truly and sponsored by Mint Mobile, offering their new unlimited data plan for just $30 a month at mintmobile.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Squarespace, your place online. Squarespace is great for building a website. No experience required. I had my first site up within a couple of hours. Just because it's easy, though, doesn't mean it's not powerful. I've heard from people who have been amazed at the uptick in their traffic when they switched to Squarespace and put its search engine optimization tools to work. Squarespace has great analytics. They've got support for selling stuff. In fact, I know somebody who just built a shop on Squarespace last week. I'll be telling you more about that later this week. Squarespace has been a sponsor of macOS Ken for years, for which I am grateful. Here's the thing, though. When anyone asks me where they should go for a website, from fellow podcasters to family members to anybody along the way, when anyone tells me they need to build a website, I tell them about Squarespace. Go to squarespace.com/macOSKen for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, use the offer code macOSKen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Start your free trial today. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code macOSKen to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain at squarespace.com/macOSKen. And a big thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's show. The congressional hammer could fall on big tech this week. Apple 3.0 ran an excerpt from a Bloomberg report on Friday, saying the House Antitrust report that's been over a year in the making will land in people's hands this week. If you've been paying any attention, you likely know what to expect. The piece has Representative David Cicilline, chairman of the Antitrust panel probing Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, and Facebook, saying each platform uses their gatekeeper position to protect their own power. By controlling the infrastructure of the digital age, they have surveilled other businesses to identify potential rivals and ultimately bought out, copied, or cut off their competitive threats. The report will recommend changes to the legislative and regulatory framework, according to the piece. Bloomberg says one idea Cicilline's floated in the past includes a prohibition against running a platform and competing on it at the same time. That would potentially bar Google from bidding in online ad exchanges it operates, or stop Amazon from providing a marketplace for independent merchants while selling its own products. Apple 3.0's Philip Elmer DeWitt points out it could also potentially bar Apple from disadvantaging apps that compete with its own on the App Store. For moves potentially as disruptive, we look to our friends in Europe. The Financial Times ran a piece last week highlighting draft legislation from the European Commission. Kicking us off, user data. Basically, if a digital platform knows anything about its users, it can't use that info unless it makes that data available to its competitors. The draft legislation says that companies shall not use data collected on the platform for their own commercial activities unless they make it accessible to business users active in the same commercial activities. Additionally, the Financial Times says the draft suggests that big tech may be banned from preferential treatment of their own services on their sites or platforms to the detriment of rivals, and that companies should not be allowed to pre-install their own applications on hardware devices such as laptops or phones, or force other companies to exclusively pre-install their software. So your iPhone would come pre-installed with iOS and that's it? I confess there is a lot I do not understand about how the EC and the EU work. We should find out more about this soon, though. Regulators hope to have this Digital Services Act submitted by the end of this year. A couple of dueling analyst notes to end the week last week. Well, it's not quite fair to call them dueling. I mean, both saw good things for the App Store last quarter. They just disagree on how good. Philip Elmer DeWitt's Apple 3.0 ran part of the notes, one from Evercore analyst Amit Daryanani and the other from Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty. Ad Rock thinks App Store revenue was up 25% in the recently ended September quarter, while the Hube thinks that the App Store revenue was up 31%. Starting first with Mr. D. His note says the App Store was one of 4 services, also music, video, and cloud services that hit all-time records in the June quarter and helped offset declines in AppleCare. Helping boost the App Store, a return to growth in China with a side of growth in Japan. While growth in Japan slowed, according to Evercore, it was the 5th straight month of high growth for the island nation, well into double-digit growth after a 2019 that saw growth in the low single digits. Quoting his note again, the App Store continues to benefit from economic stimulus and social distancing, and we do not expect the dynamic to change anytime soon, which should support a strong second half 2020 for the services business. Overall, we expect the stock to continue to work higher, especially as demand for multiple Apple products remains robust. Daryanani has an outperform rating on Apple shares. His price target on the shares is $135. Seeing a more robust quarter for the App Store was Morgan Stanley analyst Katie Huberty. I was going to mention before that her 31% tracks with the revenue guesstimate released last week by Sensor Tower. Turns out, though, that's where she got her 31%. Importantly, says her note, this would suggest services growth is accelerating into the end of fiscal year 2020, despite near-term headwinds to the AppleCare Plus and advertising businesses, which should put upward pressure on both fiscal year 20 and fiscal year 21 services estimates. Huberty has an overweight rating on Apple shares. Her price target on the shares is $130. Word of another Apple investment in India. iMore highlights a report from the Times of India that says Apple has signed its biggest real estate deal in India to date. The piece says Apple has leased about 400,000 square feet of commercial office space in Bengaluru's central business district. Quoting the Times of India, the new office space will host a large technology center. The space would normally accommodate about 4,000 employees, but the numbers may be less as companies look to de-densify their workspaces due to the pandemic. The piece doesn't indicate what Apple will do with the offices exactly. It does, however, point to other signs of Apple growth on the subcontinent. It was just last month that Apple was finally able to launch its online store in India. The same piece says that Apple has also announced it will open its first physical store in Mumbai next month. Not sure where that came from. While I was able to find a story from last year saying a Mumbai store was expected this year, I haven't seen an announcement about that from Apple. Of course, iPhone production is also ramping up in India, with a number of Apple's manufacturing partners making bigger investments there. Seems safe to say Apple's interest in India is large and growing. Apple's updated maps have landed in Ireland and the UK. Apple Muss ran a piece last week saying the improvements that rolled out in the States last year have made their way across the pond. Then announcing the rollout, Apple Senior VP of Internet Software and Services, Eddie "The Stuff" Q, said, Apple has rebuilt the map from the ground up with better navigation, richer detail, more accurate information for places, and incredible features like look around, cycling directions, and curated guides from trusted resources. We've reimagined how maps can help users find the places they love and get to where they're going even faster and easier. In addition to the stuff mentioned by The Stuff, new Maps features include real-time transit info, speed and red light camera locations, the ability to share an estimated time of arrival, a favorites category for one-tap navigation to frequently visited places, Siri natural language guidance, flyover, flight status, and indoor maps for airports and malls. The Mojave fix is in, or out. Last week, Apple pulled Safari 14 from Mojave and Security Update 2020-005 from macOS Mojave. MacRumor said then that the revocation came after users who'd installed the updates noticed memory issues, slow boot times, crashes when attempting to use Migration Assistant, and various other issues. We heard Thursday that a fix would come through another software update, and now it apparently has. 9to5Mac ran a piece Friday under the headline, Apple releases new macOS Mojave 10.14.6 supplemental update with important bug fixes. It takes care of little things like recent memory issues, slow boot times, crashes when attempting to use Migration Assistant, and various other issues. In other words, it fixes what the other updates borked. 9to5Mac says the supplemental update for macOS Mojave 10.14.6 fixes all issues caused by Mojave 2020-005 security update, as well as bugs related to Safari 14. The update is available in System Preferences under the Gears icon for Software Update. More news in a moment, but first a word from Mint Mobile, home of unlimited data for just $30 a month. Cleaning my desk the other day, I came across a bill from my old wireless carrier. No, as a matter of fact, I do not want to tell you how much I was paying. I will say instead, I am glad to be saving hundreds, yes, hundreds of dollars a year now with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile was the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, letting you save hundreds of dollars a year. And now they've got an unlimited data plan for just $30 a month. Not just data. All plans come with unlimited talk and text. Then there's the high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. I'm loving my coverage. I'm loving saving money. But you want to be sure it's right for you. That's why Mint Mobile comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee. Take it where you go. Make sure you're covered. Really try it out. If you're not completely satisfied, return it within 7 days for a full refund. Hopefully, though, you'll be as happy as I am and start saving. To get your new unlimited wireless plan for just $30 a month and get the plan shipped to your door for free, go to mintmobile.com/macOSCan. That's MINT, mintmobile.com/macOSCan. Cut your unlimited wireless bill to $30 a month at mintmobile.com/macOSCan. And a big thanks to Mint Mobile for sponsoring today's show. Apple is suing a recycling partner. Seems they weren't so much recycling as reselling. Apple Insider says the Cupertino company has accused the firm Geep Canada of selling about 100,000 iPhones, iPads, and Apple Watches that were supposed to be busted up and recycled. Kind of interesting how Apple found out. Apparently some of the stuff that Apple sent to Geep Canada for recycling was being stored separately from other electronics the firm was supposed to recycle. Discovering that these areas were not covered by security cameras, Apple Insider says Apple then checked the serial numbers of all devices it had shipped to the company. Reportedly, approximately 18%, or 103,845 of all those devices were discovered by Apple to be active on carrier networks. Apple claims that the number of stolen devices will be considerably higher since non-LTE ones wouldn't be shown. Interestingly, Geep does not deny the thefts, though it says that they were the work of 3 rogue employees. Apple's not buying that, though, saying that the 3 rogues were actually senior management at the company. Apple's seeking full recovery of the profits made from the resale of the devices, plus nearly $23 million US, according to the report. From the "if you can't beat 'em, pay 'em to join you" file, iDownload blog says security researcher Brandon Azad has left Project Zero for a position inside Apple. A number of exploits discovered by Azad were instrumental in the creation of several popular jailbreak tools, according to the piece, Chimera, Electra, and Uncover among them. And I shouldn't make it sound like Apple's just paying the guy off. He's obviously good at finding exploits Apple's missed. No doubt he'll be a welcome asset in hardening iOS, in addition to the loss that may be felt in the jailbreak community. Greg Joswick's up on the big board. Mac Rumors says Apple's recently promoted Senior VP of Worldwide Marketing has landed a spot on Apple's leadership page. It was back in August that Apple said Phil Schiller would transition out of the role, with Jaws stepping in. Apple didn't say when all of that would happen. Now, it apparently has. Schiller will stick around as an Apple Fellow. Despite the honorary-sounding title, Apple says he'll still lead the App Store and Apple events. Meanwhile, Mac Rumor says Jaws will lead Apple products management and product marketing, developer relations, market research, business management, and education, enterprise, and international marketing. And finally today, the partnership between Apple and Peanuts is yielding another show. Apple Insider says Apple TV has released a trailer for The Snoopy Show, an animated series headed to the streamer early next year. Less science, more spectacle this time. The Cupertino streamer is already hit with 2 Peanuts shows, Snoopy in Space and Peanuts in Space, Secrets of Apollo 10. This one feels like less of an attempt to educate the younger set, and more an attempt to simply entertain. Then again, the trailer's only a minute long, so we can't really say for sure. The Snoopy Show is scheduled to hit Apple TV Plus on the 5th of February 2021. If you want a sneak peek, you can catch the trailer on YouTube. Coming up in a few minutes, Brian Chaffin, editor-in-chief of the Mac Observer, starts our week with remembrances of Apple co-founder and CEO Steve Jobs, who passed away 9 years ago today. Topics include times spent in the same room, how wrong Rob Enderle tends to be, and what we still miss today. All of that and more in a few minutes. Listen wherever you get podcasts or on YouTube, youtube.com/KenRay. macOS Ken, brought to you by me and sponsored by Squarespace. Get 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain at squarespace.com/macOSKen. This show is also sponsored by Mint Mobile. Get the new unlimited data plan for just $30 a month at mintmobile.com/macOSKen. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media, online at backbeatmedia.com. You can reach me a couple of ways. Info at macosken.com or call 716-780-4080. We will talk again tomorrow. Until then, that is news from macOS Ken. I'm Ken Ray.
Ciao.